it's Jet Setting Jen here. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you're a fellow watcher. Today we're talking all about cruises. What are cruises? How much do they cost? What do they include? And why should you do this over a land trip for your next trip? So let's get into it. First question is, what are cruises? So to answer this question simply, cruises are a type of vacation, but they are on a boat. The normal boat size is usually about 4 to 7,000 passengers. I know that's a lot of people. However, don't worry, there are some smaller cruise lines that we can talk about later in the video. So if that's way too many people for you, we can have just the thing to solve that. But to start, a normal premium cruise line is going to be something like, I'm sure you heard of Carnival, Princess Cruise Lines, Royal Caribbean, MSC, Costa. All of these are examples of premium cruise lines. And what that means is it includes your food. So it has an all-inclusive food factor, whether it's a main dining room or a buffet or a combination of both with quick service restaurants. Some may also offer an upcharge for a different type of experience, maybe a little restaurant that only certain people can go to with an added fee. But overall, your food is covered. Alcohol will be additional. You'll have to buy those beverage packages. Same thing with soda, but normally filtered water is included, not water bottles. So keep that in mind. And also, usually some types of lemonade or iced tea or normal just drip coffee. Think something like Folgers. These are going to be included. Also, what's included is, of course, your floating hotel, which is where you're living. And we have four different room types on most cruises for that, which is going to be interior, that's an inside room. Ocean view has a small picture window, normally cannot open. We have a balcony room. This is your third type, which is where you can step out, you can see the ocean, you can see all the scenery. And the fourth type, which is usually some kind of a mini suite. We're thinking more space, possibly a bathtub, depending on the cruise line, and just generally maybe for a little bit bigger of a group or a family. Okay, so something like the Haven, if you're familiar with, for example, Norwegian Cruise Line, who does a lot of that. And as far as what else it includes, besides those main things, is your entertainment. So now, if they have shows on board, if they have live music on board, if they have any type of Broadway, dancing, club, nightlife, all of that stuff would be included. Now, what I mean by included is, of course, not your drinks unless you have a beverage package, which you already paid extra for. But the fact of having entertainment on board, you don't have to get off to do anything fun or exciting necessarily at night, especially if most cruises are not going overnight. So keep that in mind too. Most cruises you are sailing overnight. So that means all day, maybe you're ported in a one place. And then when you leave to go to the next place, it's dinner time and you're eating for free. And then afterwards, all those activities are included. Next question, of course, is what are the advantages to cruising versus doing a land tour, which is when people book hotel and air, right? Only, and they're walking around cities or walking around towns. They're enjoying the local flavor. They're saying, well, Jen, why would I go on a cruise instead? Well, let me tell you why. There's a couple destinations that I would absolutely recommend that we cruise instead of land. So here are some of them: Iceland, Scotland, New Zealand, possibly Australia and New Zealand if those are two countries you want to go to. We can also consider Japan. That's a great sailing destination. And I would say the Norwegian fjords. If you've watched my previous video on best solo places to travel and you saw the Norwegian fjords, that was a cruise. So to back up again to the advantages, well, one, you unpack once, right? You bring your luggage onto that ship, you go to your room, you unpack, and voila, you are on that boat with your stuff for the entire duration of your cruise. And then you just get off yourself and whatever small couple belongings you need to bring with you every day, such as passport, money, chapstick, little bag, bottle of water, right? And you just get off the ship and you don't have to worry about anything else. So we don't have to actually like relocate to potentially see all different countries as well as different parts of one country that are very spread out. So this is really great for destinations that are not easily drivable or have more than one island, such as New Zealand, that are very far apart. So like a flight between them is going to waste at least half a day. So that's the type of destinations I would definitely suggest are advantageous to using cruising. And obviously all your food's included. So super picky on food or have a lot of dietary restriction, this can be a great way to save money. Also advantageous for expensive destinations. Japan, Scotland, British Isles, New Zealand, all of these countries are expensive. Iceland as well. So if we want to think about how can we get to one side to the other without booking another plane ticket, this is really a great way to go and something to think about. If you guys are watching, then of course I know that you're budget conscious. So let's talk money. Jen, how much money is it saving me if I want to go land versus cruise on a lot of these destinations you've mentioned? Well, to give you guys an example, a celebrity 9 day cruise, or maybe really 10 day, 9 night cruise, can go as low as 16 to 1800 per person for an interior room versus a land tour, which would probably be about 2 to 3 times that cost for what you're getting, which is food, entertainment, your floating hotel. That's what you get on the cruise. On land, that's how much it's going to cost you, at least double. So I want you guys to consider this when we're looking kind of just generally at like what are your costs of travel versus what we could save money on by actually cruising. If we're not really attached to the idea of staying in location, this is really, really, really a great way to see a lot of more expensive destinations. Like I mentioned before, Iceland. When I did Iceland cruising, it really was a great experience to see all different sides of Iceland. The problem was it was still about $3,400 a person. So I know everyone's budget is different and we do need to take that into consideration. But if you went on land and did that same trip and had to rent a car and drive around, how much is that costing you? You see what I mean? Hotels can also be quite expensive in several of these destinations. So if we take out the hotel factor, we take out the food factor, and the transportation to and from place because the boat's doing that for you, you can still see how this can be a really great saving situation. Are you guys ready to work with a travel agent but don't know where to start? No problem. Just drop me a comment below or send me an email to my business email, and I'm happy to get you guys booked on your next amazing trip.